because of the huge numbers running this morning, 25,000, it's very important that we spread out the waves as well, and keep things well managed out on the course. About 10 seconds. And we're going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
For as long as I can remember, it's just something that I've loved to do, and I didn't do very much of it when I was a young child, but as I got older and I was just looking for flexibility in my own workout routine, it was just something where I could lace up my shoes and head out the door, and especially after I had kids, super easy. I didn't have to schedule a class. It was just whenever I had a free moment, just get outside and enjoy the fresh air and get some exercise.
Well, I started running about a year ago, last May, and it's something I've always wanted to do, and I was getting pretty bored with my regular sort of workout and gym routine, so I just bit the bullet and I signed up for a clinic at the Running Room. I thought it would be a good way to start.
Started running at the Running Room, and I joined a 5K clinic with one of the women that I worked with, and so we did that 5K clinic and we really liked it. And then I met some people through that clinic who then were joining the women's 10K group that I belong to now. And they said, you know, come on, you should come and join. And so that's what I did. And that's how I started running. And I've been running now for about 3 years or so.
On like North Riding as well. You just have to do it again. I just enjoyed that. I was like, I've done that.
We meet every Tuesday and Thursday as a group. So Tuesday is our, I'll call it quality day. We do some sort of more difficult workout. And it varies what that workout is depending on where we are in the season.
Tuesday is tough because Tuesday, Lucia really focuses on training us for the races and building up things like endurance.
First thing you have to make sure that you do is that you can cover the distance safely to run 10K, which is no easy feat. For if someone is a non-runner, you know, you can't just jump in and run 10K. So it's a gradual progression for everybody to make sure that they can cover 10K safely. More often than not, we are either on the track doing short bursts of either 400 meters, 800 meters. Those would be the most typical, so once around the track or twice around the track.
One of Lucia's favorites is Sherwood Park, and there's this hill at the end. You get to park your car at the top if we don't run there. And then you have to run up the hill. When you're doing your long race, that, you know, the tempo or the hill training has really built up your endurance so you can run longer for your long runs. So it's a little bit of no pain, no gain.
While you're doing it, you want to commit hara-kiri, but at the end of it, you feel pretty proud of yourself that you did it.
The closer we got to the race, I wasn't nervous. I was a bit excited about it. It was also on Mother's Day, so it really meant the day was just for me. There was a lot of planning, and I think some of the planning, it didn't take away the nervousness, but it helped me focus on other stuff. So we had our meeting, our clinic on Thursday, and Lucia's telling us to hydrate, drink water. So from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think I drank 30 glasses of water, and I was just mentally ready to do it. I actually got up early and I ran over to Sporting Life from my house to warm up, so I wasn't feeling all tight when I started.
That was my third year doing the Sporting Life 10K this year. And the very first year that I did it with the woman who's my work partner and one of the women that I worked with at the hospital. And this year, I was running with some of the women in my, the other two women couldn't run it, so I ran with the people in my group. So it was much more of a race.
I'm nervous the day before a race, or maybe 2 days before a race, when I'm thinking about what is my goal for this race, what do I want to achieve. I ran that day with one of the girls in our group to pace her for her personal best. The goal was to beat her previous best, which was something like 52:14.
It started relatively early, which I was happy about because it kept getting progressively hotter. When you got to St. Clair, if you looked ahead at the hill, there was just this wave of people going up the hill. It was incredible. And if I didn't turn around because I just couldn't, but every time there was an incline, you could look up and see this huge wave. It was hard to believe how many people were running.
It looks like a lot of people, plus it does feel like a lot. Like you just feel like you're running. The first part, you feel like you're just floating on a wave, like you're just being carried away by the huge crowd of people. It's a pretty cool sensation, and I mean, I've never experienced anything like it. My actual wave started at 8:40, but I got over there a bit earlier, and I saw some women from the group. They said, just run with us. I thought, I'm just going to run my heart out in the first 5 because I knew it was hot and humid, and I thought, I'm gonna slow down in the last 5. So anyway, I thought I'll just burn myself out and then see how I do in the last 5. In retrospect, it maybe wasn't the greatest plan, but anyway, that's what I did.
I have to admit, it was just lots of fun for me because once we settled into the pace and I knew we were holding it, it was, I would say not more challenging. More challenging for me is when I'm racing and I have to push myself to that limit where she was. For me, it was a lot of fun, and I just kept glancing at my watch to make sure we were holding pace and paying attention to it, but it actually was a ton of fun.
The beginning went pretty quickly, like up to the 5K, and you hit 5, you're like, it's half over. Then when you hit 6, you're like, it's only 6. And then I think at around the 7K mark, we're already downtown, and there must have been a Druxies or something because you could smell bacon and smoked meat, and it was so hot. And I'm thinking, when is this going to be over, or when can I pass through this wall of meat? Because it was just brutal.
I don't think I've ever seen that in a 10K race. I have seen people down in a marathon or a half marathon. It was somewhat alarming, and I think it was at around the 7 to 8K mark I started to see people down.
I mean, by the end, people were dropping like flies. They were just, even when I came across the finish line, there's this young guy at the end, and he said, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, but could you get me some water?" I was just so parched.
And there were these people at the side, who had passed out from the heat, and I'm like, I'm not going to be that person.
I mean, normally on a 10K run, I would never stop at a water station, but with this one, I stopped at both of them because it was just so hot and humid.
To my understanding, no one had any long-term health consequences, but I heard from the race director's assistant that they had over 70 people that were treated for some sort of that needed some sort of medical attention that day.
Good work, Suzanne. There. Good work, John.
I got to tell you, when I saw the finish line, I was just like, hallelujah, I'm finally done. Like I couldn't, I just thought, oh my God, like just get me across the finish line. So I was happy when I saw it.
Final roughly 400 meters when we're coming down the bridge and down that slight downhill at the finish. And I kept saying to her, come on, Julie, we have to break 52, knowing full well that we were going to break 51. And I was just celebrating because when I saw how hard she was working, how much she picked up the pace at the very end, I knew I was excited to tell her what her time was. It was just sharing in the sheer excitement and joy of her moment. It was fabulous. And her final time was 50:48.
It was an incredible sense of accomplishment and an incredible sense of relief. So right after I ran through, it felt so good to just walk 100 meters, to just not be running anymore and to just breathe and cool down a bit. If you just start out on your own, you probably won't continue. I think it's very difficult to go out there and have the discipline to just do it. And what I learned doing it with the running room is you have to build it up slowly.
I mean, just start off slow. I think the running room's a pretty good place to go. And because they have a level for anybody, really.
Don't be afraid. Just get out there, be consistent. It might feel difficult the first few times that you're out there, but the rewards, the joys, the euphoria that you can connect, whether it's just by being in nature or doing something you've never done before or meeting new friends. For me, it's one of my favorite activities in the world.